this question is a trap. It is the king of the trick questions they could ask you, because a lot of recruiters, you ask them like, what should I answer when someone says, what are your weaknesses? They will most likely tell you, just be honest. Say your weaknesses, and then say that you're working on them. Because all we really want to know is that you're self-aware enough to realize that you have weaknesses and that you're working on them, and all will be fine, right? Have you heard that answer before? If you hear that answer from recruiters, it's the most self-serving thing ever, because what usually happens in the real world is, you see, they are trying to eliminate candidates, right? You start with hundreds of candidates, and their job is to whittle that number down till you get to one that you hire, right? So they've already filtered out many people to get to an interview, and then if there's more than one round of interview, then they filter more, right? So they're looking for reasons to reject you. It's a series of go, no-go tests, and it filters people out the further you go, right? Like when they ask you, how much salary do you need? Things like that. That's a filter question. They don't care about talking about salary with you. They're not trying to accommodate you. They're trying to eliminate you with that question. If you ask for too much, sorry, we've eliminated you. Your compensation requirements are too high. So this question, what are your weaknesses? It's exactly the same thing, right? What they do is, if you say like a really serious weakness, you say like, oh yeah, I've got a terrible temper, but I'm working on it. They'll be like, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your candor. And then they eliminate you, right? For that reason, you revealed that, this is a problem with you. What do they know about you? Well, you're qualified, but you've got a bad temper. It's like, we're not going to hire that person, right? So you fell into the trap. So this question, it's very delicate how you get out of it, right? You have to give them an answer, but the answer can't eliminate you. So long story short, don't use any of these retarded, kiss off answers. Don't use a strength as a weakness. Don't say you have no weaknesses. Don't make a joke like, my weakness is chocolate, right? I did that. I said that in a video. My weakness is kryptonite. It's like, they've heard that. They've heard that before, These people do interviews for a living, right? Sometimes they've been into thousands of interviews, right? They've heard those before, okay? So you're not as clever as you think you are, by doing that, right? They don't ask you the question for you to deflect it. They don't regard that as a positive answer. They're like, you're giving us a hard time. You're refusing to answer properly. Okay. So you got to give them something. This is what I recommend you say. Think of something awesome that you do. Okay? You do great work, or you work very fast, or, you are very organized, or some good trait of yours, right? Everybody likes you, whatever. Now think of an understandable side effect of that, okay? Everybody likes you. That's a great thing. What could be a side effect of that that's negative? Well, maybe that means you have to be off talking to people a lot of the time to build relationships. Maybe you're away from your desk not working, or you're away from your workstation, whatever you're supposed to be doing, right? So, okay. Everybody likes me, but, I'm off building relationships when I should technically be working. That's a side effect. Okay, it's a trade-off, right? Maybe you're really, really organized. That's great. That's an awesome trait. What's a side effect of that? Well, maybe it takes a little time. You got to put in extra time to be that organized. So you're not the fastest worker, as I hit my microphone. Okay, so think of an awesome thing you do, and then think of the negative side effect. When they say, what is your weakness, or what is your greatest weakness, or what are your weaknesses, you're going to mention the side effect. So you start off saying something to the effect of, well, I do this great thing. I'm an extremely organized person. And, there's never any chaos. Nothing is ever forgotten or overlooked because I'm always on top of it. However, sometimes that means that I'm not the fastest worker because I have to put time into my organization, right? So there's your weakness, right? And then the third, so that's what you say. You give the good thing, and then you give the negative side effect. And then the last part is you say what you do to make sure that weakness, that side effect, never becomes a problem. So put it all together. What's your greatest weakness? Well, I'm the most organized person in the office, and I take pride in that. Unfortunately, it means that I'm not the fastest worker because I have to maintain a system that I use. However, what I found is that when I get an assignment from my boss, I always ask verbally. I say, if I get it to you at, here, like tomorrow, or I give a time frame of how long it's going to take me, and I say, is that okay? 95% of the time they say, sure, that's not a problem. So that way, even though I take a little extra time with things, it's never a problem. It doesn't impact my work at all, and I produce great results. Right? So you technically answered the question, what's your weakness? Well, you're not the fastest person, but it's an understandable side effect of something awesome you do, like you're extremely organized, no details are ever lost, you're always on top of things, right? And they can't eliminate you for that because you've just said how the fact that you're a little bit slower never affects anything. They don't see any negative side effects whatsoever from that. You've made sure it's never a problem. So it's a very involved answer, but that's the answer that I recommend.